Salutations, gamers! Welcome to Induction Games. I am your host, a videographer, and you are watching the first ever video here on this channel. If you came over here from my Induction Studios channel, welcome. Feel free to subscribe. This is where you will get your gaming content from now on. I think I want to have a dedicated gaming channel for gameplay commentary, funny gaming videos, let's plays, and gaming live streams. And then my main Induction Studios channel will be for my vlogs, my kind of production stuff, and also my music production releases and stuff like that. So Call of Duty. Call of Duty. Those words bring forth emotion in most modern gamers. Those emotions are very polarizing. And by that I mean you either think Call of Duty and have a warm, nostalgic feeling deep in your chest, or a cold and bitter shiver that scratches down your spine and carves at your very soul. If you have been following Call of Duty over the past few years, you would know that it's really been disconnecting from its fans, and every year there is the Kool-Aid that the Call of Duty community has named it, the hype. When they announce a new Call of Duty and you're like, oh, this is going to be it. This is going to be the new Call of Duty that brings Call of Duty back from the ashes, that makes Call of Duty great again. If you also do not know, I have an Indian ringneck Reggie. She will make random sounds in the background. I cannot stop that. I am sorry. But Call of Duty. When World War II came out, we're like, oh, it's going back to its roots. It's not going to be Jetpack Mania anymore. And that game, well, its initial release had terrible server issues and was really unplayable for the first few months. It turned around and had a pretty decent following, but they changed so much with the core gameplay and the way you have perks and the way you customize your soldier. It just wasn't the Call of Duty that a lot of people were expecting. And then you had the hype train in 2018 with Black Ops. Oh, another Black Ops game. I remember Black Ops 1. That was one of my most favorite Call of Duties. And Black Ops 2, another one that a lot of people really say was kind of the peak for Call of Duty before it really started to lose its identity and get overtaken by the corporate greed of Activision and microtransactions and really just separating its player base. There's the people who dealt with it, and there's the people who just were done. They moved on, including me. I didn't play COD Ghosts, barely played Advanced Warfare. I don't think I touched Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare. But I played World War II for quite a while. I think I just was in my second Prestige. And again, it didn't really feel like the classic COD I remember. And then Black Ops 4 was announced, and I was hyped. I got my wife playing World War II. We played that together, and that was a lot of fun. And I was hoping that I could get her into Black Ops 4, but then the beta came out, and there was this manual healing and extra 50 health, and it felt like it took an extra 10 minutes to kill someone. And the game looked pretty great, but it seemed to be downgraded in a lot of ways. It had no campaign. It had Battle Royale. That's great for people who like Battle Royale. Call of Duty isn't Battle Royale. Call of Duty is Call of Duty. But I digress, because you are here for a quite different title, and they announced a new Call of Duty today, and in line with all of the rumors, yes, it is Modern Warfare. Not Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. No. Not Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. No. Not Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. No. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. As soon as these rumors came out and they said it was going to be kind of a soft reboot of the series, I sensed something different than every other year. A lot of people did. Is Call of Duty truly going back to its roots and bringing us that grounded, gritty, and fast-paced action of the first Modern Warfare? No jetpacks, no specialists, just soldiers in a fast-paced first-person shooter that defined an industry. So this trailer came out, and I want to do a analysis of it, kind of go through frame by frame, actual in-game footage. For years, I've been saying that Call of Duty needed a new game engine. We see the Battlefield series constantly evolve and push the envelope when it comes to graphical fidelity and modern game engines, but Call of Duty has been stuck in that 10-year-old game engine and just relying on the brand to sell it and not innovation. What Activision and Infinity Ward are saying is that they had a whole team of people working on this new engine, or this advanced version of the Call of Duty engine, for the past few years, and it shows. So the first thing we get is this sweeping shot inside a dark, misty forest. I'm really going to look at the technical aspects of this trailer and what I think it means for the Call of Duty genre. The fidelity of this background blur and the individual leaves, branches on the trees, the volumetric light rays coming through. This is something of a cinematic in normal Call of Duties, not in-game footage. So when you see this, see the foliage moving as people move through it, you can tell that this is a pretty big overhaul with the way that the lighting and the texture fidelity is. You'll see like throughout this trailer. I'm going to go with cautiously optimistic, because we've been burned by Call of Duty many times, and I want to take it with a grain of salt, but there's some things that make me pretty excited, both in this trailer and statements from other content creators that actually got to go to see the exclusive reveal event, and some things that I'm really, really excited to see make it into this series. Captain Price, if you've played the Modern Warfare games, you know this man. Probably one of my favorite characters in gaming, and definitely my favorite in Call of Duty. Captain Price steps out. You can see some pretty cool lighting effects from his cigar on his face. And he says this line.
Bravo 6, going dark.
Bravo 6 going dark. So we get a very Splinter Cell-y transition here to this night vision scene. Now, one of the other graphical things with this game engine is they allegedly have designed the infrared spectrum, baked it directly into the game's engine, so infrared goggles and infrared light works like it does in the environment in the real world. So we see real-time shadows here. Infrared light works a lot like a real flashlight would on your goggles or on your guns. So it does cast shadows, but again, you don't see those shadows unless you have something in the infrared spectrum, a camera that can see that. So we're not simply getting a rendering filter that increases the exposure and gives everything a green tint. This is actually a light source that is interacting with different surfaces realistically. And you see that in lights and reflective surfaces on the soldiers. It's reflecting it like it would in real life. This is probably one of my favorite shots in this trailer as far as showing the graphical and technical advancements. Frame by frame here, this is kind of a Snorri cam style shot, like a GoPro on a soldier's helmet. So the helmet is static while the rest of the world is moving around it. and they're breaching in to this building. We see some pretty impressive tessellation in the bricks on the ground here. That's either tessellation or bump mapping, where basically the geometry, fancy lighting, game engine magic creates more depth in surfaces. And I'm not a game designer or 3D artist, but I know that it is pretty expensive in a game engine to have that kind of details, and also to have the different level of reflection in the water between the bricks. And that right there, that's like the Battlefield's Frostbite engine level of detail in the bricks right there. I don't think I've seen that in a Call of Duty game. And you can also see the different level of reflective surfaces. You see like the tape on the soldier's helmet reflecting a lot more than the helmet itself, and just like the texture quality of that tape looks photorealistic. And the other thing is, they announced that they use photogrammetry. Essentially, it's the process of using cameras in the real world to take pictures of the environment and recreate 3D assets from these pictures, rather than handcrafting textures and 3D objects. The textures and the 3D objects are created through fancy AI programming by stitching together pictures from the real world. Think of a panorama that you take with your cell phone, except 100, probably 1,000 times more advanced, stitching the stuff together, and it allows for some really photorealistic graphics. It's announced that this is going to be used in the upcoming Elder Scrolls game. It's being used in Farm 51's Chernobyl Light game, which I've played the private demo for, and that game looks beautiful. This is the signs of a very high-end looking game engine. Just some of these shots, if you were to take a picture with your phone and then post it on social media, it would look like, at that level of compression, it would look photorealistic. Like, this is some pretty good looking graphics. So we get breach and clear here with a silenced MP5 or some sort of PDW submachine gun. And we just get more closer look at these fantastically detailed textures and different colors. We have another shot of some soldiers about to jump from a plane. This is another spot where you really see some details and textures, but you also see something that is a sign of a high-end game engine, which is material simulations, cloth simulations. Their clothes moving with the wind, which looks pretty good. We get some bloom and lens flares, as well as light specks on the camera lens. That's, kind of just a cinematic effect. It's not necessary, but you see it in the Battlefield games and the Crisis games. It just kind of adds another level of realism, of feeling like you're seeing the world through someone else's eyes, through a soldier's eyes, through a camera's eyes. Cut to a completely different scene here. We have probably a terrorist of some sort jump up with one of my favorite guns from both, Call of Duty and Rainbow Six, any first-person shooters. The French assault rifle, the FAMAS. And these next scenes, we get to see some really cool environmental lighting effects. So when the gun's muzzle flash goes off, we see not only the fire of the flash itself, but we see it illuminating the terrorist's body, the different reflective surfaces on her, on her legs, on her arms, and then even down here on the wheel itself that's turned slightly to the left of the car, so sticking out, we see it onto there. Now that's some signs of pretty advanced lighting and possibly even some ray tracing going on. Again, I'm not as knowledgeable on the advanced game engine lighting, but definitely a level of environmental lighting that we haven't really seen in Call of Duty. So this is a cutaway to a police officer or SWAT or French police special forces of some sort, I'm guessing. And we see some really detailed textures on the car he's standing by. You can see the liquid on it reflecting and refracting the light. Really some impressive graphics here. Now, this is cutting from a third-person perspective of this person, I'm guessing, to first-person. When it cuts to him, we get another one of my favorite shots here because, again, out of context, this is like so photorealistic looking. It's crazy. I can't quite tell what type of gun he's holding. It looks kind of HKE. Anyways, I'm not the most knowledgeable on guns, but you can see that this pistol he's holding has beads of water droplets on it. The light of the car's parking brake lights is reflecting off of the pistol as he brings it up. The field of view is actually focused on his gun. The background is blurry, and then we get these shots that, with the trailer playing, go along with the music and is really cool. But we get to see some pretty neat effects of his pistol firing. And this could be part of the cinematic aspect of the trailer, but I do see a lot of motion blur in this game, which we don't often see in Call of Duty gameplay itself. I know you can turn off motion blur in PC versions of games, but hopefully they allow us to turn it off in the console versions. I honestly don't mind it if it artistically works with the game. We get a very close-up shot here of what is probably Captain Price, maybe before he's a captain, because this isn't technically a prequel, it's just a retelling, but this could be a little bit further in the past because he doesn't look very old, but this is a very Price-looking mustache and beard right here. But we see some pretty realistic-looking skin textures and character design. Again, a lot higher quality than we've seen in previous Call of Duties. We got your generic, lots of tanks and vehicles driving through the desert. I swear that looks like a live action VFX added over, but if that's an in-game effect, that is, again, a pretty photorealistic looking splatter of mud and dirt. So that's impressive. And then we have maybe an AC-130 or some sort of large modern bomber just laying waste to this a stronghold or a base of operations or something, but just totally destroying it with some pretty great looking fireworks there, and then going. That is definitely not an AC-130. That's a lot smaller looking now that I see it getting close. Military buffs. I'm sure you can name what type of fighter jet or bomber that is. A reaction shot of people in the space as the dust cloud hurls towards them. This almost looks like it is a found footage style camera view of whoever this person is. Almost like they were holding the camera and then they turn it towards them as the dust hits them. But some powerful imagery here of a group of what looks like civilians and a rescue team of some sort helping lift an injured person up on this stretcher. And then here we have a cut to actually World War Z with a bunch of zombies rushing in, or most likely a mob of refugees or civilians either trying to escape or fighting back against some sort of threat. If this is, again, like, not a cutscene but in-game engine footage, that is a lot of people, probably 200 characters rendered on the screen at the same time, and that is also impressive for a Call of Duty game. Here we have a soldier carrying away his injured comrade who is in kind of last stand mode here. Please don't bring back last stand unless like a teammate is carrying you, then sure, last stand can exist, but don't bring back last stand in its classic way. Another one of my favorite shots in this trailer is this helicopter view flying around a town square and clock tower. This again really shows the detail and the world building they're doing, probably with the help of the photogrammetry, being able to fly a drone around an actual city like this, capturing hundreds of pictures of this environment and then being able to recreate it in the game engine, saving them lots of time and outputting something that is probably better than any artist could depict. Really impressive, this quick little shot. Got a shot of some soldiers walking through the streets as a plane flies, and then we get the kind of camera perspective zoom here, jets, and another few explosions. Again, seeing this frame by frame is the kind of thing that looks like a movie. The quality of these explosions is pretty spectacular. And right there, it's a Modern Warfare game. I don't think anyone was worried, but in case you were, The AK-47 is confirmed, ladies and gentlemen. And then we have a kid with a gas mask. Now, explained by some of the insiders who got to go and see this reveal, this is from one of the campaign missions where you play as a little girl who escapes from a nerve gas attack with her brother. The quality of the character model and the environment here. Again, if you didn't tell me, I would have thought this was a Battlefield reveal trailer with the quality of the graphics. But again, graphics aren't anything. I hope that the story and the gameplay can back it up. But so far, I'm pretty hyped. We end with a little bit more of the night vision footage, and we end with the infamous Call of Duty Modern Warfare logo. Let me know your thoughts. Are you a Call of Duty fan? What's the last Call of Duty game you played? And what's the last Call of Duty game that you really enjoyed and felt like, yeah, this game is finished. This game is balanced. This game is what the fans wanted. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, right next to Halo 3, were my first online experiences with first-person shooters, and it holds a special place in my heart. Fingers crossed on the multiplayer. Hopefully we will be seeing that soon. And as more videos come out, I will cover them and break down the gameplay and try to get more efficient with how fast I break down that gameplay. But if you enjoyed this, if this video got you at all hyped, if it got you any hope at all for Call of Duty, or if it just made you mad and you don't think Call of Duty has any hope of reviving, either way, give that video a like. Consider subscribing for more content related to Call of Duty and Halo and Pokemon and a lot of game stuff, because I hopefully won't be the only one making videos on this channel. I want my friends to be able to put content on it as well. We just have to work out the logistics. But either way, I hope to see you again. Have a good one. I didn't prepare an outro, so have a good one is the outro.